Hello everyone, welcome to our HTML5 and CSS course series 4. Now today we'll be looking at something very interesting. Today what we'll be looking at is HTML elements. Okay, HTML elements. Now in our previous video, yes indeed, I then or more or less in our previous lesson, which is the first lesson, I'll be leaving a link here where you guys can go and take a recap of what I'm about to explain. Now we then talk about elements. Okay, and what I said was that most elements comes with what a starting tag and a closing tag. In other way around, one can also call it opening tag and a closing tag. So opening tag and a closing tag. Now what are these elements? Now let me just throw light on these elements and then for you to understand them. So I'll dash straight to my my text editor. If you are new here, this is our lesson, our previous lesson before this one, and I'll be leaving a link here also. You can just go there and take a recap of saving an HTML file. Okay, how you can save your HTML file, previous lesson before this. Now let's move on. Now let me open a new page and then explain this for you to understand basically from scratch. Now look at this. Before I write my first line, remember I taught you guys that as a beginner, or more or less as a web designer, to become a web designer, you need to note this all the time. Save your web page before you start coding, so that it will be very easy for you. The tags and the code will be popping up for you to just start writing your first code or line. You don't need to hustle. That is the flexibility of using Sublime Text and also other text editors. Okay, it's not like Notepad, where Notepad, you know, if you want to save the web the web page, the tags or the codes will not be popping up for you. But these text editors, I mean, when you save it before start writing, the tags open for you like it's in the dictionary, so yours to just go ahead and start to select the one that you want and then you use them. That is, easy way, easy, user friendly for you to use. So let's go ahead and save it first, and I'll explain the tags one after the other. So when you click on file, for instance, and then I go to you just click on save as. So when you click on save as, let me save this as, because we are talking about elements, let me just call it HTML. Okay, HTML elements. Okay, so let me just call it light so that it will be easy for you to understand each of the topic that we talk about. HTML elements. Remember, I told you that to bring the file extension, you go ahead and bring dots. Okay, dots HTML. Okay, then after that you just click on save. So you can see that's the name I just gave the web page, more or less, not that's in the title of the web page, but the name I gave to the web page, how I saved it. So to begin, let me go by saying, let me bring my dog decoration. So I bring my dog decoration. Okay, then I'll go like dog. Okay, type. So the dog talk about the type of document I'm creating. So I'm creating the type of document I'm creating is HTML. Okay, so this does not come with a close tag. No, this talk about the type of document we are creating. So let me bring a particular tag known as HTML. Okay, now you can see. Okay, let me just do it one by one, so I don't want to confuse you. So let me just clear all this so that it will be easy for you to understand each code. So HTML. Okay, so the first one here, that is the opening tag, or one can also call it the starting tag. Okay, then after that I'll go ahead and press enter and bring the closing tag. Always come with a /. Okay, so /. Okay, you can see, so /, then you go by saying HT. Okay, you can see that the codes are popping for me, the tags are popping for me. Just press enter and select it, and then bring my angle bracket. So this is my left angle bracket, and then also my right angle bracket. So you can see, so this become my my starting tag, and this become my closing tag, or one can call it my opening tag, and then my closing tag. So in between, I'll go by writing another I'll go by say heading or header. Okay, so the moment I press enter, now let me explain again. So this header is opening tag, and this is a closing tag. So these are the HTML elements. These are all elements. So I'll go by saying again, so in between the header the closing tag, the opening tag of the header and the closing tag, I also bring something we call title. Okay, so you can see the title comes with what, opening tag and a closing tag. So in between the title, I'll go by saying so I'm going to call this web page, I want to give it a name as Armstrong 𝐒𝐤𝐻𝐿 elements. Okay, I'll be fine so that you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, element. So I'm explaining the element. So I'll just go ahead. So that's the title of the web page that I've given it. So now in between, so I'll just bring the mouse pointer at the end point of my header. Okay, the heading, the closing tag of the heading. Now I'll press enter. Then I'll bring border or body. Sorry, I'll bring my body. So my body also, this is the opening tag of the body and this is the closing tag of the body. So in between the opening and the closing tag, I'll press enter and then bring a what example. Let's say I bring a paragraph. A paragraph will do for me. So I'll bring P, and the P also comes with the closing tag and the opening tag. So I'll just press enter. So and then in between the opening tag and the closing tag, I'll type my content, what I want to display there. So it's going to be this is okay. This is an example. So eg, let me just make it eg example. This is an example. So eg, okay. This is an example of elements. Okay, examples of elements. Okay, so let's say element contents. That'll be fine for me. Nice. So as I just typed, so this is what it is. So when I go ahead and click on file and click on save to save the changes, and then go back to my folder, as you can see we have HTML elements. When double click on it, you will see my work displaying nicely. You will see, so this is here, so you will see it here nicely. Let me zoom it a little bit. So this is an example of element content. So basically that is just that. So you always need to know that using elements, these are all elements. So this is an element, and this is also an element, and this is also an element. So element, this comes with an opening tag and this is a closing tag. So the header, this is the opening tag and this is the closing tag, and then the paragraph, this is the opening tag, and then the body also, this is the opening tag and this is the closing tag. So basically that is just that. Now let me just throw light on something again. Let's look at another example of using an element. So another element I'd like us to then talk about is called something we call what, header. So if I want to bring a header here now, might to just press enter and then bring another element known as header, heading 1. Okay, so this is another element. So in between, you see the moment I press enter, it's come with an opening tag and also a closing tag. So in between here, I'll go ahead and just type learn HTML or learning HTML elements. Okay, let's go by saying that, sorry, learning is E-E-R. Okay, sorry about that, E-E-R. Okay, so learning HTML elements. Let me do it kind of okay, elements. Okay, so elements. So that is just that, and then this is also another attribute where you can use. Now I can also go ahead and put this also in. I can italicize this using a particular element. Now the moment I click on file and click on save, check what's happened. So file and click on save. Now and I go to my browser. So this is my browser, and refresh, check. So we have learning HTML element. Now I can italicize this. I can put this in italic. So how can I put this in italic? So to put this in italic, might to just bring, so in between so the opening tag of, how they call it, the header here, I'll just bring I, okay, and then come to at the closing tag before elements, okay, here, and bring the forward slash, and then I have my closing tag of my italic. So the moment I click on file and click on save, and then I go to, how they call it, my web page, and I refresh, you can see that is learning an HTML element. You see that my work is boldly written and is being italicized. So that is all about HTML element, and we'll be looking at more of the elements. We'll be using them also as well. So that is just catch you in the next course tutorial. Bye bye.